welcome to my views and news. Two very important news stories. Firstly, the government, Ethiopian government released a statement today. The statement seems to be a warning for Ethiopian Orthodox Church followers who are planning a protest due to be held on the 12th of February. The announcement was made by the church yesterday. What is government saying? What is government's position about the ongoing religious conflict? Has the government changed its position? Details for you. And secondly, viewers, reportedly some mediators who are trying to mediate between the Orthodox Church and Ethiopian federal government, they held discussions with church elders. And church elders have laid out three preconditions for the resolution of this conflict. What are the three preconditions? Are they doable? Details for you. Firstly, viewers, it was yesterday when the Holy Synod held a meeting. And after that, the Synod announced wearing of black starting from Monday during Nineveh fasting, and it asked all Orthodox followers in and out of Ethiopia that on Sunday morning, on the 12th of February, that all should pray in churches and then they should come out on the streets for a peaceful protest. And in Addis Ababa, the protest will be held at Meskel Square. It was a call for nationwide, rather abroad as well, protest against the government. And yesterday, church accused the government of supporting the splinter Orthodox faction, which has taken control of several churches, several dioceses in the Oromia region of Ethiopia, and dozens were killed in clashes between security forces and followers loyal to Bune Matthias group in Shashamane yesterday. Church claimed 35 were killed yesterday. Now, Ethiopian Communication Service 2 hours ago released a statement. The statement is government's position about this conflict, and it seems that Ethiopian government led by PM Abiy is sending a very strong message. It is warning church leaders and Orthodox followers. What is a government saying? Firstly, the government says that this separation, this split, word uses separation. Separation of Orthodox Church should be resolved peacefully and through internal procedure. First point. Secondly, now very important, here again, the government is treating the two factions as equivalents, as equal partners, while church position is that the other faction is illegal. But the government says it's internal problem of the church and church should resolve it internally. Secondly, government says that church elders, countries elders, religious elders, religious leaders, they should invite the parties to the Orthodox conflict and find a solution. I think here government is asking all influential groups and people in Ethiopia to play their role. Religious institutions, non-religious ones, they should step forward and they should invite the two parties for talks to find a solution. Thirdly, the government said that it is doing its part. It is playing its role. Its role is that it should not back any party, that it should ensure that law and order is enforced, that rule of law is respected, and that is what government is doing. Government security forces are doing their duty. So no condemnation of yesterday's killing by security forces in Shashamane. Government is not going to prosecute, isn't going to take action against security officials involved in yesterday's killings. Government says it is responsibility of security forces to ensure law and order imposition, enforcement. That is what the security forces are doing. Government is warning media that media should refrain from spreading conflict. It should not be part of spreading hatred in this conflict. And very importantly, government is warning the orthodox followers that it is the responsibility of government to enforce law. And if anyone tried to exacerbate the problem, government will not allow it to happen. Now, it's very clear. What I can conclude reading this statement of the government is that Ethiopian government is announcing that it will not allow large-scale demonstrations which could lead to a law and order situation, which will happen, I think, if millions are allowed to enter Addis Ababa or to reach Meskel Square of Addis Ababa. Of course, government could be in danger. Why? Because what happened in Dassi today? There were tens of thousands there and they were displaying banners. They were saying, if you enter our temples, we'll come to your palaces. Yes, that is what we learned from Dassi, that such banners were displayed at today's gathering in Dassi by Ethiopian Orthodox followers loyal to Abune Matthias-led church. It means that if there is gathering in Addis Ababa, yes, people could go towards, they could storm palace, they could storm Prosperity Party office, they could storm the other buildings, embassies as well. So I don't think government is going to allow this protest to be conducted. There is going to be some sort of discussion between government and church before the 12th of February. Maybe that is why church announced a date which is after 1 week. Church is giving opportunity to the government. Government is not changing its position. From day one, government's position is that it's church's internal problem and government is neutral. Though it isn't neutral, it is supporting the other faction in Oromia. It means that now the church will have to change its position. Government is showing no flexibility. After having killed dozens yesterday, government says it will enforce law. People will have to respect law. Now, the Orthodox Church will have to step back. Will it step back? Well, the second news story is about church's position. Reportedly, some mediators met church elders and their discussions were held. The mediators are trying to diffuse the tension between the church and the government. And there, reportedly, church authorities, church elders laid out 3 conditions for a solution to this conflict. First precondition is that government must stop killing of people. That bishops, Orthodox followers are being arrested, they're being jailed, they're being tortured, they're being killed as well in some cases. Government should tell its security forces that the security forces must stop all their actions against the Orthodox followers. Secondly, the church wants the new splinter faction to withdraw from their newly captured diocese in Oromia. We know that in the past 1 week or so, the Splinter Oromo faction has taken control of diocese in Valaga, in RC, and in southern Oromia as well. Church wants, Orthodox Church, led by Abune Matthias, the group wants the other faction to withdraw from these churches and status quo before the start of conflict should be restored. Thirdly, the church wants the government, the splinter faction, to come to the church for talks. Orthodox Church led by Abune Matthias does not want to go to the faction to talk. It wants the faction led by Abune Sarios to come to church headquarters for talks. Government delegation can visit church headquarters, like we saw that a few days ago. Abraham Ballet, defense minister, visited Holy Synod and Patriarch, but government delegation was not shown any flexibility by the church authorities. Now, church wants to enforce its authorities. It wants the other faction to come to the church for talks. I think church is changing its position because it was saying that the other faction was illegal, no talks. Their title is revoked. They're no more part of church. But here, reportedly, church seems to be changing. By the way, this is not public official position of church. These three preconditions were shared in some meetings between church authorities and mediators, secret meetings. So that is why church has not shared these preconditions, these conditions publicly so far. I think the other faction, Abune Sarios-led faction, will not withdraw from their newly controlled diocese. They can come to the church. I think Abune Sarios group says that Abune Matthias is the patriarch. They can come to church, but they won't withdraw from churches in Oromia. That's what happens. Coming days are very crucial till Sunday, 12th of February, when protest is planned across Ethiopia and outside Ethiopia by Orthodox followers loyal to Abune Matthias group. Thank you for watching.